Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Donna with DONE.photos, and I am here today with Mary Beth Kully, founder and CEO of DONE.photos, and
Hello.
Owens. Hi, Mary Beth, and Chris Owens from APS Lab.
Hello.
Hi, Chris. So welcome to both of you. We've created today's webinar with APS to talk about the places high volume studios can lose time when the pace picks up, from the workflow side to the lab and fulfillment side of the process. Our goal is to offer some practical support and guidance before busy season begins for all of us next month. We know the pace is going to pick up. We all know this well. So we're going to focus on one central question: what's slowing your studio down? We're going to talk about a few places where DONE can help bring more structure, automation, and customization to the workflow. And then we're going to turn things over to Chris from APS Lab to talk about the lab fulfillment side of the process. So we're just going to get started. Mary Beth, let's start with the big picture. When you talk with studios, where do you usually hear that workflow starts to slow down?
We most often hear that workflow starts to slow down when too many parts of the business are being managed in too many different places. So as volume grows, everyone spends more time tracking things down, moving information around, and trying to keep the process organized. And DONE.photos brings all of those moving pieces into one connected system, so studios have more control across the whole process.
That's a great place to start, because using a connected system is really the key to addressing slowdown studios feel as volume grows. For DONE.photos, connected doesn't mean studios have to give up the tools, programs, or vendor relationships that they're already working with, right?
Right, and that's really a good point, Donna, because as humans, change can be uncomfortable. So at DONE.photos, we really strive to make the transition into a platform easy by supporting you to keep using all of the parts of your process that you know and love. For example, if a studio is already using a CRM system that they like, or an editing tool that they can't live without, or have a lab vendor relationship with a company that they trust, like APS, we bring all these pieces together into one workflow, so that you don't have to move, copy, or re-enter manually, but you still get to keep working with all those pieces that you love. So in the next slide, one of the tools that we use to be able to connect to those tools that you're already using and work with is we use APIs to connect with those systems outside of our system. And so bringing an existing job, the information into the workflow is really important. Its continuity really matters for studios. Some of you might have past job details, customer data, or historical information you still need to work from. So being able to bring that information into DONE means that you keep working from what you've already built without having to rebuild everything from scratch. And next is lab integrations. DONE.photos supports lab integrations, of course, and that means that studios working with lab partners like APS, for example, fulfillment stays connected with the rest of the workflow. One of my favorite things about APS is that they know service items, which are critical in the school pictures. In school pictures, for the studios, the number one stakeholder is the school, not the parents. Of course, those prints also have to be beautiful because the parents are paying you by buying them. However, the school is the number one stakeholder. The reason why they bring studios in to take pictures is that they need their service items like ID cards, yearbook pictures, directories. We know a studio that was using a lab and they lost their number one school because the lab delivered the directories late and wrong. That literally cost that studio hundreds of thousands of dollars in future revenue. So I can't emphasize enough how critical it is to choose your lab carefully, choose one that really understands service items like APS does. That's one of their advantages and one of my favorite things about them. And finally, reporting. That's where a connected workflow really is especially useful because it brings all that information into one place where you can customize reports around that data in a way that means most to you. And it gives leadership better visibility into what's happening, what's working, and what you might need to change.
Yeah, and that's really important. That's the kind of visibility that's needed when a workflow for a studio to see, where the workflow is supporting growth. For example, Jason Butcher's platform experience speaks directly to that point. When his studio switched from doing everything manually, they saw tremendous growth.
Yes, and Jason's experience is a great example of the kind of impact that we're talking about. He was able to grow his number of subjects that he was photographing by 20%, which is significant. And unbelievably, his profits increased by 72%. And that's because of the platform. The platform allowed him to grow, but work more efficiently. So his profits really increased.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? So when a studio is able to reduce manual work, it can create more room for growth. Our platform user, Vanita K, who I think I saw her on here, experienced that as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. For Vanita's studio, switching to DONE.photos meant a really meaningful change in growth. They doubled their business in a year. Wouldn't we all love to say we could do that? So for both Jason and Vanita, the point is that using a platform allowed them to support more volume and grow their business because the workflow could keep up with them.
Yeah, and a workflow that can keep up is especially important as studios grow. One of the biggest places studios can lose time as volume increases is customer communication. It can become a huge source of manual work. Families need the right information at the right time, but the messages still need to look and feel like they're coming from the studio. That's one of the strengths of the DONE platform and one of my favorite parts of the system we were talking about before this call. It's really robust and incredible. So Mary Beth, how does DONE help studios manage customer communication in a way that's efficient and still consistent?
You're right. Brand consistency and customization are strengths of the platform. Inside the system, you can customize every piece of communication families receive so that the language, the tone, and the look match your studio and the job. That gives families a consistent experience while giving you full control over communication. In addition to that, there's timing. You can control when the messages go out so the families receive the right information at the right time. Another feature is automation. Automated reminders are built into the system so that families get the prompts that they need, but the studio team is not responsible for remembering to send every single reminder on every single job. And one of my favorite features of the system is customer behavior-based communication. And that means that you can set up communication to respond to what a family has already done instead of only following a fixed schedule. For example, if Donna's parents received an email saying, Donna's school pictures are ready, and her parents went in, looked at the pictures, and ordered, they're not going to receive another communication because they've already completed the journey. So that's really important. So you're not inundating your customers with communications not relevant to them anymore.
Yeah, that's great. Families might not see all the work happening behind the scenes, but they really do feel when communication is relevant, clear, and when the whole process feels connected to a studio's brand. And that same brand consistency carries into the online store on the DONE platform as well. Once families are viewing galleries, choosing products, the store becomes the main place they experience the studio. Mary Beth, how does DONE.photos create an online ordering experience that works well for families and for studios?
Yeah, well, you're right, Donna. The store is where the families interact most directly with the studio. And DONE gives you a fully branded, mobile-friendly store, so the experience is easy and familiar. Studios also need the flexibility to offer what they want to offer. DONE gives you the ability to customize packages, products, and pricing so the store can reflect what you sell. And using what's on the screen as an example, you can see on the phone, the first banner is for digital, and then the other two banners are for packages. We call them banners, but basically you set it up the way you want. If you want to sell memory mates first, that's the first banner you use. And not only that, you design the banner so it reflects what you want to sell, the look of your company, what you want to say. So everything's customizable to you and your sales strategy. And then the ordering process needs to be easy for customers. Families should be able to understand their options and move through the store without confusion. I'm a big proponent in keeping things moving forward, especially when it comes to sales, like to remove barriers to sale. You don't want parents spending so much time in the store trying to go through tons of different options or trying to understand the complexity of a package, maybe making calculations of what the best value is. You're likely to lose them. They might have to step away with all intention of coming back, but if they have to step away, they may not come back. So you want them to be able to move through the store quickly, check out, and be done. So at DONE.photos, the store also includes tools that can support stronger sales. So when that family is checking out, you can offer, it's optional to you, but you can offer other things to bump up your sales. It's like buying bubble gum at the convenience store counter. So, and in this example, the studio set up a further discount on digital sets. So a digital set is already discounted over buying the individual one. But in this case, because a family purchased a package, it's in their cart before they check out, the studio is saying, hey, do you want a further discount on the digital set? So more value for the customer, more money for the studio. And the goal is a store that works well for both the customer and supports your sales strategy.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Once families are in the store, the products they see need to feel polished and personal too. And that's where DONE's unique approach to template automation inside the platform becomes really valuable. Mary Beth, can you show us a few automated templates?
Absolutely. What I'd like to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you 3 different templates. The first one is a school memory mate, which you can see here. And I'll walk you through that and show you the features of these automated templates that are the same across all the different templates. In this case, it brings in the individual photo and the group photo automatically and all the information. This is information that you already collected from the school before picture day. So name, grade, school, year. The only other piece of thing that you do is you upload a logo and a color swatch, and you can see that that's automatically populated here. So this looks very customized to this parent and to the school, as if you spent all night customizing, but you really haven't. So that work is done for you, but the parent can also customize more if they would like to. For example, maybe they want to swap out the image here. And if you're using extracted images like we are here, they could also swap out the background if they'd like to. We've even seen parents swap out the group picture with an individual. That's fine, whatever they want to do, right? Whatever makes them happy. They can also change some of the data. School gave us the name Reese, but maybe the family calls her Reese. So they can go in and change that and it automatically updates. So lots of automation for you, saves you time and gives parents the option to further customize. So memory mates, like they're usually something that we think of for sports. And I'll show you a sports example, but I want to add that when we introduced school memory mates, we were pleasantly surprised. What happened is that parents bought the memory mates on top of the packages that they were already buying anyway. So you're not doing any extra work and the sales are going up because you've offered something unique like this. So let me show you a memory mate for sports, which is more common. I'll switch into a player here. Let me just go into the memory mates. And usually it loads quicker. But anyway, I also want to mention that we give you tons of templates. This is in your library. You can use them all, use some of them, use none of them, update your own, but it's our gift to you is in this platform that we've done a lot of the customization for you. And so So this is an example of a sports memory mate that you can see that there's these customized overlays with all kinds of information like graphics and data. Notice here that it brought in a player number. That's unique to sports, right? It wasn't relevant for school, but it's bringing that in for sports. And you can see there's a foreground here too that's hiding the shadow of the feet, for example. And like the other template, a parent can choose to change the image. So the third thing I want to tell you is also, or show you, is something that's very popular, and it's one of our design prints where it shows two different images, and it's really popular for sports especially. And let me show you one that parents like a lot, and it's this one here. So you can see where it's bringing in two of the images. But again, parents can customize. So for example, if they wanted to show the closer up image in the front and in the back, they wanted to show this image, they can do that. And even further, they can, if they wanted to blend that player in a little more and change it to sepia, they can do that. So anyway, in a nutshell, that is everything that, a little bit about the templates. So basically, the work is being done for you, saving you time, but bringing you in more money.
Thank you. Those are awesome. I loved seeing them. So we've talked about a lot, but tried to keep it to a few key places where studios can get slowed down that we hear a lot, and how the DONE platform can bring flexibility, automation, and clearly through you showing us those templates, tons and tons of customization to the workflow. But we all know the workflow doesn't stop at the software. And as you mentioned earlier, DONE.photos supports self-fulfillment as well as partner lab integrations. So studios can manage fulfillment in a way that works best for their business. For studios thinking about that fulfillment path, APS Lab is a partner we're truly excited for you to hear more from. They offer outstanding products, fast turnaround, and responsive support that we can speak very specifically to. What makes this partnership especially meaningful to us is that APS Lab shares the same kind of studio first approach as we do. They understand the pace of volume, the importance of getting the details right, as Mary Beth mentioned earlier, and the value of long-term relationships. So Chris, I'm going to turn this over to you so you can share more about APS Lab and what you bring studios as a fulfillment partner.
Thanks, Donna. You know, we've really enjoyed our integration process with DONE. Think that the path of partnerships like this with people like this really is the future of this industry. Quick introduction about myself. I've been in this industry for over 40 years. I've done that as a photographer, as the vice president of a lab, as a speaker, and now I'm primarily focusing on helping photographers grow their business. I have a personal belief about our industry that you, the photographers, have the most important job in this whole process, and that's getting great expressions from children. We can talk about software and technology, and it's all important, but the most important thing is connecting with that child and getting a great expression from that child. If you've achieved any level of success in this business, you've learned how to do that. So hopefully what we can all communicate here today is that if you focus on doing the most important task, getting that great expression, then let DONE and APS take care of the rest. APS has been a full-service school lab since 1980. We made the transition from film to digital when many did not. We made the transition from paper flyers to online ordering when several did not. We made it through COVID, which some did not. I think one of the main reasons that APS has been at the lead of our industry for as long as it has is people. We talk about this frequently, and I think we're all afraid to actually add it up. But between our management staff, our customer service staff, and our sales staff, we have hundreds of years of experience in this industry. If you think back even 5 years ago to where our industry was, I'm not sure any of us could have imagined or predicted that we'd be where we are doing what we're doing the way that we're doing it today. So it stands to reason that no one really knows exactly where we're going to be in the next 5 years. But what APS can bring is a proven track record of adapting to a changing world and a changing marketplace. I'm going to share with you some really cool things that we do and some cool technologies, but like the importance of capturing a great expression is for photographers, the most important thing for us at APS is to focus on partnership first, to build strong relationships that it's not just a vendor-client relationship, but one that acts as a consultant when you need it, a friend when you need it, and always a partner. APS has always had a focus on end-to-end service. When I was operating as a photographer, I quickly realized that the only thing I do that actually makes money is sell and shoot. And it's in that spirit that APS and DONE, and a relationship like APS and DONE, are growing and developing. I'm going to invite you to look over our catalog at apslab.com. We've got a wide range of service item products for schools, packaging options for seniors, and every sport item imaginable. Something you have seen before or offered in the past and you don't see it in the catalog, don't assume that we can't do it or we don't make it. We probably do, or we probably can. Looks like we've got a video that's getting ahead of me a little bit, but I'll just kind of continue with this. We have really focused on state-of-the-art production. The video that's showing right now is a piece of packaging equipment that really is industry-leading, state-of-the-art. We call it Pac-Man. One of my favorite things to do at the lab when I'm there is to just go down and watch this machine work for a while. It really is pretty amazing. It's highly accurate. Our accuracy has improved tremendously, and our ability to get orders out in a much faster rate has gone up dramatically as well. One of the most important pieces of the DONE APS integration is that we write back data to DONE. Mary Beth talked about API being so important, and you can actually see completion data and shipping data in your DONE account, which allows you to see when orders are shipping, where they're tracking, follow up on them. But in connection with that, APS also has its own interface called APS Lab orders, where you can track all orders, including batch orders and service item orders. We've also got a full yearbook department, including production, that can complement what you're offering to the schools, and an entire frame department that, including production, where you can offer framed portraits directly to your consumer, completely assembled. I think a parting piece of advice that I would give to photographers would be to test everything, test your lighting. If it's a new school for you, test your connections at the school. Don't just assume that the Wi-Fi is going to work the way that you want it. Test your price lists, test any new items. APS completely welcomes this approach. We'll do testing for you at no charge. And just the important part of the summer opportunities that we have. We were just talking before the meeting started about how in this industry, we used to have summers off almost, and now it's just, we just dive into planning. But use that opportunity to test everything that you possibly can, so that there's as few surprises and as few hiccups as you can possibly have when you get to actual picture days. In parting, I'd like to thank all of you for attending. Thank you so much to DONE for inviting us to this webinar, but also for being a really great partner. We're very, very excited about our relationship with DONE and about where that's going to take us in the future. So thank you, and I'll turn it back over to you guys for questions and answers.
Chris, thank you so much. That was really helpful. I loved seeing that video, to be honest, to highlight, even if we might have jumped the gun and got you there too soon. So apologies for that. But it's just really helpful to hear the lab perspective and to connect it, connect it to the larger workflow conversation. We absolutely love partnering with APS Lab. So thank you for being here today and making time for the webinar and to share all of this with this audience. And yes, thank you to everyone here today who joined us. We really appreciate you spending your lunch hour, if that's what you're up to today, or if you're like Chris, your second cup of coffee time with us today. So we hope that this conversation was useful, gave you things to think about in terms of your own workflow and your fulfillment path. We know it was just a snapshot. All of us know that. So please reach out to us at any time for a deeper dive or to connect with us, to look specifically at your studio's process. But we do, before we close today, want to give you the opportunity to ask any questions. So feel free to type them in the chat, or to just pop on, unmute yourself, pop yourself on to camera and just ask. We're very casual about this kind of thing. We just want to hear if you have any questions, ask us anything, any one of us about anything. So see if anyone's got questions. We've got one. We've got two. The first one we have, we currently use, I just lost it. Hang on one second. Give me 1 second. It looks like it was, we currently use in call messages. I apologize, folks. We currently use a photo for editing. How would that fit into the DONE.photos workflow? And what would the integration process look like? It sounds like one for Mary Beth.
Yes, sure. That's a great question. Many photographers already have editing software that they want to use and they love, and we don't expect you to change that. We're designed to fit into your existing workflow, not to replace it. So in our retouching workflow, it allows you to continue using software like a photo while moving the images back and forth between the systems. So we'd be happy to schedule a time to go over a demo and walk you through how that would look.
Okay, awesome. Next question is, if we're interested in using DONE.photos and working with APS Lab, what does that look like? How do we get started? I'm going to say, Chris, you'll both need to answer it. So you can decide who's going to go first on that one.
Well, I guess the first part of it would be the system, and then there's right. Okay, so it's
apologies. Yes,
the process is actually pretty straightforward. First, you would schedule a demo with us, so that way we can learn about you, your current workflow, your business, what your needs are, and then we can show you the features of DONE that will best suit your needs. And have the biggest impact for you. So it's basically just connecting with us, and we'll make it work for you.
I think I'll just add to that we could definitely do those as joint demos too. And we could all just, get to know each other all at the same time and get to know the process all at the same time. So it doesn't have to be 2 steps.
Great point, Chris. And one of the reasons why we love working with you.
That's totally awesome. We've got another question here. It looks like a done question. Are parents able to order a photo with the original background and or the extracted image to choose a background? So I think, Lucas, you're asking, are they able to order both as the photo was taken, and if the studio extracts it, can they also select that? Yes, that's correct. So that's the question.
Sure. So they basically they can order what they see. So essentially, if the studio is uploading an image with a background in place already and an extracted image, both of those things can be ordered through the system.
Okay, awesome. Are there any other questions that either Mary Beth or Chris could answer today? Doesn't look like it. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, both of you, for your time, everyone on the call today. We are recording this, as I mentioned at the beginning, so we will, within the next week, oh, I have another question, but I'll finish that. Within the next week, we'll make sure you all have a connection for the replay. So if you want to take your time and listen to some of the answers to these questions at your own pace, you'll be able to have the opportunity to review the webinar again. But another question has come in. If you extract, they can get, oh, it's a platform user offering a helpful add-on to the answer about extraction. If you extract, they can get the extracted or any background you offer. So the possibilities, right, Vanita, do open up quite a bit. You can offer both, and the backgrounds make that you can apply to the extracted images open up lots of possibilities for folks to customize. Thank you, Vanita. All right. Well, you all, thank you again for your time today. And please reach out to either APS or DONE.photos with any questions or any way that we can support you in your upcoming season and into the future. So thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.